midday and you're welcome to Pan-African News. We are coming to you from our studios in Abelemkpe 48 Swanika Street here in Accra. We are live on Facebook at Pan-African Television. We are also live on YouTube at Pan-African Television. My name is Justice Appiah. Coming up in this afternoon's bulletin, the Electricity Company of Ghana is set to embark on a nationwide disconnection exercise. Today we'll bring you details of that story pretty shortly. Work progresses steadily on landfill site. Later in business, clients and vendors share varied views on MTN's newly introduced mode of no ID, no Momo system. Details of these stories, including entertainment, international, and sports, will come your way for the next 1 hour. We're going for a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now moving on to our very first story for this afternoon. The Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, will embark on a mass disconnection exercise today, April 12, 2021, owing to high indebtedness. A statement issued by the firm urged all customers to settle their bills to avoid being disconnected. It also wishes to inform cherished customers and the general public that resumption of the normal revenue mobilization exercise will begin today. Now let's look at the statement issued by the Electricity Company of Ghana. It says the Electricity Company of Ghana Limited wishes to inform its cherished customers and the general public that it will be resuming its normal revenue mobilization exercise effective 12 April 2021. The exercise will focus on all categories of customers in areas. All customers who owe ECG are therefore advised to pay up their bills. Revenue mobilization teams will be identified by their staff identity cards. Thus, customers are strongly advised to inspect their ID cards before allowing them into their premises to avoid imposters. All necessary COVID-19 protocols will be observed by our officials. Customers may visit the nearest ECG office, call our contact center on 0302-611-611 or visit our social media handles via at ECG Ghana Official for further enquiries. Help ECG serve you better. Away from that story, pupils of Ogbolu Methodist Junior High School in the Kota district of the Eastern Region are calling on government to refurbish their edifice. According to them, the poor nature of the facility is impeding effective teaching and learning. My colleague George Yosinvene toured the area and has more on this.
I arrived at the school with my crew on Friday morning and met none of the teaching and non-teaching staff. After a thorough assessment and evaluation of the situation, I interacted with two final year pupils, namely Asantua Belinda and Coco Gladys, who passionately appealed to the government to refurbish their school building, which is in a deplorable state. The school structure from JHS 1 to JHS 3 is made of bamboo and covered with rusted iron sheets, with dusty ground, posing a great fear and panic to the students. Hence, the attention by authorities is urgently needed. The young girls says they can't learn in the condition of the building and run to the house anytime it rains. The nature of the school building that you are in now affecting your studies. How is it affecting school in terms of learning? How is the structure affecting you? Are you comfortable in the kind of structure you are sitting in?
No.
Why?
Because our school building is not correct.
So when you're learning, how does it affect you? Does it affect you negatively or positively?
Negative.
How negatively is it affecting you? Share with me. And what will you call on government to do for you? What are you going to ask government to do?
I want government to come and build our school for us.
So when it rains, where do you go?
You said?
When it rains, where do you go? Do you stay here?
No, you go to home.
You go home?
Yes.
When it rains, anytime it rains, you go home.
Yes.
So that means there will not be studies for you.
Yes.
Wow, that's so sad. Let me put it, not a proper classroom, because a classroom with a bamboo kind of structure, how is it affecting your studies?
We can't learn correctly.
You can't learn correctly?
Yeah.
Wow. So what do you want government to do?
We want a new building.
You want a new building. This minutes, according to the assistant head teacher of the school, Matthew Cranton, has been like this for the past 10 years, and several attempts to draw the DCE's attention and that of the sitting MP for the area, Charles Achampong, has proved fatal.
We've written to so many authorities, especially in the district, but nothing has been done. And looking at it, especially when during rainy season like this, we can't even stay in the class for even a second. So we have to, when it starts raining, we have to move all the children to the primary block, which is very disturbing. I can't remember when I came here first, the same structure was under when we were having the primary. Wow. So it seems it was get fine. Even this has not been inaugurated yet, but we just force ourselves to move in. Yeah. With the utility, with the facility, the washroom and other things has not even yet been completed. Yeah, we are still facing challenges, especially with DEXIS and ICT labs and other staffs, library. We are facing so many challenges.
The situation was no different in Kwabonta, a neighboring community where pupils of educational institutions studied under extremely worrying situation. One of the teachers I spoke to said the facility, which was established some 30 years ago, hasn't received any facelift and required urgent attention.
Around this place, almost 5 rooms and all collapsed. When it collapsed, no one, even this structure, my brother, it was the masters and the children were organized. We were organizing ourselves and build this structure. Not the community. I'm telling you the fact. Where to the government is they should come on board to help us, because when the structure is nice, it motivates teaching. It motivates, even attract most people to come. Because somebody, a parent will bring his or her child here, even looking at the structure, it discourages them a lot.
Now, still in the eastern region, teachers and pupils of Kwabonta District Assembly Primary School in the Kota district of the Lower Akim constituency can now heave a sigh of relief following the completion of a fully furnished 3-unit classroom block funded by a non-governmental organization. My colleague George Josephin was in town and has more on this.
The school had battled numerous difficulties and challenges relating to teaching and learning, which were unaddressed till Bamba International Humanitarian Aid Organization shouldered the responsibility and provided them with a fully furnished 3-unit classroom block. The kind gesture brought joy and smiles on the faces of both teachers and pupils of the school. The head teacher of the school, Edu Prince Marfo, touched on the importance of the school building to the entire community and the impact it will have on teaching and learning.
Since I'm a remarkable prince, about the primary kid head. Since I was and still as a head, I have a lot of challenges, a lot of problems. My concern and my problem, the strongest one is the school building. We don't have enough school building. We had only 2. That's the permanent one, and 2 seats. We contain all the 8 classrooms. So Bamba came to our aid and brought the 3 classrooms for us. Moreover, apart from the school building, we also have this problem, teaching learning materials. And we have wrote numerous of letters to a lot of NGOs, a lot of organizations, a lot of institutions to this assembly, but Now, no help is coming from anywhere. It's only last 2 weeks I had a message from the director, district chief executive, that they are coming to our aid to build maybe 3 or 2 classroom blocks for us, added to the Bamba International. But after it will come tomorrow or tomorrow, that one I can't tell, and I don't know.
Coordinator of Bamba International Humanitarian Aid Organization, Yusuf Babamu Bamba, shared what motivated him to take such an initiative to Kwabanta District Assembly Primary School.
Well, as we have, the elders have just even given the explanation, it's about 30 years. You see, to me, the whole feeling is like, as I came to commission the borehole project, and I saw children learning under a tree, I just begin to ask myself, and in this century, a child sitting under a tree learning, whilst we drive Land Cruisers and big cars like this, how can situation be like that? I mean, human beings are all equal. So it has really agitated me and has given me a kind of, I became shocked. Actually, to say, frankly, when I came and saw it, I was really sad to the bone. So that was the idea that brought me in such, that has brought my mind to be able to construct this school for the community.
He also charged other non-governmental organizations to take their help to deprived areas across the entire country.
So I am appealing to all the NGOs in Ghana to stand up and go around all the communities. I'm just dropping a drop in an ocean. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I wish the government, at the same time, all the NGOs that are also in Ghana or international or out of Ghana, to stand up and look at the situation that we are facing. At least, not to sit just in Accra or Kumasi or the big towns, but rather to go around and see the situation that people are facing in the community, so that they can also help, And when you help, God also helps you.
Away from the eastern region, a former deputy communications minister, Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, has added his bite to the brouhaha over who gets the nod to lead the New Patriotic Party in the 2024 elections. According to him, the government should focus on finding achievable solutions to issues bedeviling the economy, rather than dissipating their energies on who becomes the party's flag bearer.
Bleach shambles. We have the worst economy in the last 40 years currently. We are buried under debt. Our debt currently is in excess of 300 billion Ghana cedis. Our debt to GDP ratio is almost 80%. We are a bankrupt country. Today, when government collects taxes and it pays salaries, almost all the rest goes into interest payments. And there's no clear path towards recovery in the current situation that we find ourselves. Today, our educational system is in complete shambles. As I speak to you, the Ministry of Education, this government, cannot even guarantee a reliable timetable. The academic year, the academic calendar cannot be relied upon. Only last week, parents had to go through the excruciating experience of sending their children to school only to find out the timetable has been changed. Today, we are speaking about double track. Children go to school for 2 weeks, they come and sit at home for 4 months. Others go for 3 months, they come and sit at home for 2 days. The whole system is chaotic. Today, the energy sector is on its knees, despite having excess capacity, generation capacity, with reserve margins exceeding 1,000 megawatts. We are sleeping in darkness and heat under doomsday. In spite of having inherited ESLA, which generates close to 4 billion Ghana cedis annually, this government is unable to invest in transmission equipment. And as such, Ghanaians are wallowing in doomsday. The crime rate is skyrocketing. We are only about to discuss a case involving teenagers who have murdered a 10-year-old boy. Armed robbery is on the rise. Violent crimes are on the increase. Today, this government has had to heap 6 different taxes of the people of Ghana in the budget that was just read. Because the country is broke. Because they have mismanaged and squandered the resources bequeathed to them to seek re-election. And these are not the things engaging their thoughts as a party in power. These are not the things that they are concerning themselves with. What they care about is how to see President Akufo-Addo's back and how to replace him at the very beginning of a second term. When President Akufo was president, the discussions about his replacement started 2 years before he left office. But in this instance, no sooner had the last ballot been cast in the 2020 election than the campaign for 2024 began.
Still on the local front, with about 7 months to the completion of decommissioning and re-engineering works at the Pon landfill site in Accra, the Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Cecilia Abena-Dapaah, has lauded the project, which is a blessing in disguise. Now, she made the observation after touring the site to monitor progress of work.
The visit was also to assess the possible assistance needed by the contractors in completing the project to help ease the challenge of dam sites across the country. Addressing the gathering, the Sanitation and Water Resources Minister, Cecilia Abena-Dapaah, applauded Zoomlion Ghana Limited, contractors of the project, and also expressed satisfaction with the progress of work executed so far. She further urged the media and the 2 municipal chief executives in Tema and Kpong Katamanso to propagate the ideals of the project.
Excellency, the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, he created this ministry for a special purpose. And I think by now you all appreciate what is being done through this ministry. He brought sanitation to the front burner. And also, we have in our manifesto, water for all. There is a link, and necessarily so, between sanitation and water. But without water, you cannot have effective sanitation. After we've all been here with the dust, we need to wash down. What do we use? Water. During the COVID period, we all appreciate what His Excellency has done for this nation. The heightening of hygiene and the toilets that we have built in households. On record, we have validated 103,000 household toilets across the country. And we are still validating a few. By the time our records are set, we would be having 136,000 toilets around this beautiful country of ours. I'm stressing that because cholera outbreaks, dysentery outbreaks have been eliminated since 2017, and we need to appreciate that and put it on record. Also, I have done my research, my team will bear it out. The whole world, I haven't seen anywhere that a president or a leader has given free water for 9 months to continue with free water to the lifeline consumers for another 6 months. Let us give His Excellency the President a very warm welcome. Like he said, he cannot bring people from the dead, but he can bring back the economy. So let us appreciate what this government is doing so that we will be encouraged to do more for Ghana.
The Greater Accra Regional Minister, Henry Korte, described the project as a huge investment and one which will inure to the benefit of the Kpong Katamanso municipality, but appealed to the Sanitation and Water Resources Minister to consider replicating same at all the landfill sites in the national capital.
Our friends from the media, the technocrats and experts, I say all protocol observed. The Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources has spoken. If you look at the pictures behind me, you will appreciate the hard work, the effort, and the sacrifices that have been put in this for us to get to where we are today. Now, again, behind me is the artistic impression of how the final work will look like. I was telling the minister we are going to have Las Vegas in Boom. It's a very nice tourist attraction. And let us commend the minister, the ministry, and all who together are on the course to make this a success. As Oliver Christ will say, we'll rather appeal to the minister to replicate same across all the landfill sites, probably in Accra, so regional minister can also attach myself to her in taking the credits. But on a more important note, this is a good work, and we will rather appeal to the waste management company to expedite work so we can see the conclusion of this. To this end, I want to thank the minister and all as we join in helping to make Accra work. And don't forget the mantra is let's make Accra work. Thank you very much.
Now, the General Secretary of the Convention People's Party, CPP, Nanaya Achimpim-Jantua, has admonished the media to promote responsible content aired on both radio and television. Responding to the gruesome murder of an 11-year-old in Kaswa, which sparked widespread public criticism, she equally urged parents to keenly monitor the content watched on television by the awards.
Blaming media. Yes, of course, all those things on TV. Even me, I believe that lotto will be banned in this country. Betting. You see, betting has become the game betting. It is not for adults. They will say, oh, for 15, 18-year-olds and beyond. Go to a betting place right now. You find 14 years, 15-year-olds, and there is no monitoring. The point is also that our systems are not working. Ghana, our biggest problem is enforcement. They will put it there, oh, 18 years and above. But you go in there, you find young children betting. The way we even glorify the lottos and the betting, it is as if, I mean, that is what will make you rich. You don't even glorify hard work. When you are doing work, you are working hard, people will tell you that, the society will tell you that, oh, you are wasting your time. Oh, you are being slow. Now, another form of betting is politics. Quick money. When you are in politics, you should get money plenty quick. You get me? So we need to make sure that systems in our country works. All these people on radio, on TV, advertising juju, now he's even adding Illuminati and advertising, make money quick and all that. Do we have to wait for somebody to kill somebody before we sit out and talk? In Ghana here, by next week, another topic will come and we'll forget about this one. And nothing will be done about it. I think it's high time we made sure that we enforce our laws. I think it is high time we made sure that our children are protected.
That's all for the local stories, but still to come in business, clients and vendors share varied views on MTN's newly introduced mode of no ID, no Momo system. Details shortly after this break. We'll be right back.
Hello?
Oh, Sincere sound.
Okay, why? My wife comes and send a message. Hello? What's happened?
It's a chunk to be a quiet say what?
Besides, when a friend, I'm so near you. You are not testing messages here. And our office also, I'm trying to tell you, man. She says, I
mean, so we a guy, Manu, and may young who could look cry. And also wants a family drilling company limited for Ghana.
What's the name? Family Drilling Company Limited.
Here to borehole, biofuel, biogas, swimming pool, plumbing works in Danso, Yebi, Frey 0240-333-111 and NASA 0244-144-822.
Miampa and We want swimming pool on me fee. We want to. We will be here. Family drilling now, master. Family drilling. Me out with that.
Welcome back. Now let's do some business stories. The Chief Executive Officer of Yayara Glover Limited, Yayarato Glover, has backed calls for the processing of Ghana's cocoa beans. The move, he said, will help add value to Ghana's cocoa so as to shore up the country's proceeds on the international market. He made these comments in an interview with Harriet Nati on Pan-African Television's Parliamentary Affairs.
Let's talk about cocoa production. Currently, what is the state of Ghana's cocoa production?
Oh, I must say that we're doing very well. Cocoa Board is doing very well. We have this able leader who actually has got a listening ear, you know, the CEO of Cocoa Board. I normally write letters, and then I realize that after 1 or 2 days, you know, you have confirmation. That means that that man behind the scene is actually observing what we do, you know, and that's what I really love, and that is what Barred was also doing. Honorable Barred was doing that. He was always behind the scene. So I had challenges in the beginning. Nobody was willing to support that project, but now I must say that Ghana is doing well as far as organic cocoa production is concerned, and then as far as conventional cocoa is concerned. I think now we want to move a step further to process our beans, because you see, around 2026, they are estimating that chocolate production or the market is going to hit $17 billion. And in actual fact, we have no share as far as this is concerned. So the president is now saying that we must really process our beans.
Value
and
addition.
I think yes, we're doing very well. We're heading towards this. So I just got out of a meeting talking to investors.
That was the Chief Executive Officer of Yayara Glover Limited, Yayara Glover, speaking on diplomatic affairs with my colleague Harriet Nati. Now, in some more business stories, some customers and MTN vendors have expressed varied views on the newly introduced no card, no Momo system. According to the telecommunications giant, the move is to clamp down on the fraud associated with mobile money transactions. But barely a week after the introduction, the issue has triggered furor and controversy among a section of the public.
I don't feel good about it, Sake of, the B give me. Yeah.
Why the B for you?
Sake of, maybe I left my ID card for us. Me say if my ID card is lost, so I get money for my wallet inside. It be bunch money too. So if my ID card or I'll go cash out my money. They be me. Yeah, this thing, they work. Therefore, Sean, this thing.
But it protect you. It protect you from any online measurement of frauding or any activity.
They protect anything.
Sure. So what you don't make government do about it? Basically, the Momo authorities.
Make them show this thing. Make them show. They jump. Yeah.
Thank you very much for speaking with us, my bro.
What's your name? I'm Bernard. Yeah.
So what's your opinion on this?
That they move. They move. Sake of me, to me, I nearly lost my ID. Sake of this thing. Sake of I take go carry money. After they can forget to I put on for. Now I did my bag inside. So maybe if I lost time, where money today my phone to I go fit go cash out. That's my problem. You see, where me to I no go fit take my phone give somebody say make you hold down then come out my ID number for top. Maybe you go hold down there, maybe the phone go come off your hand and fall down. You go spoil my phone give me. But if with the cash out, I go allow my cash out to go do that. I go enter my pin. Then I go take my money. So this thing they know they move. Therefore sure they move. Sure.
Oh, concerning about the ID, it's very good and in this way, it makes our money secure. And to the customers, sometimes they don't use their own ID. They use their parents' ID to register. So that's the only thing that we are facing now, making the business slow. So I think they should do something about it.
So compared to this system to the old one, which one is making the money secure? Because we used to have a problem that MTN fraud, this and the rest of you. So with the ID card and with the no ID card, which one is more secure?
With ID card makes our money secured.
Please, it's bad.
Why bad? Can you elaborate on it?
Maybe someone is far away. If you want somebody to allow cash out, unless the person bring ID card number before giving him the money, so it's bad.
Okay, so you think the authorities need to go back to the old system?
Please, yes.
So they should scrap it?
Yes, they should scrap it.
To me, why? Because me kwako yiska na anu ya na lady bi jina honum o yiska. Skana obe onkuta ID. Nifa ne ka chene so onko fan ne ma mede embre honment ya se kakra. Na ya na eye no so ne se me be yiska obi nso abanso be yiska. Na me bobo me number me bo me code na obeti se ma bo code no code a me bo no wate. Nti code na ma bo na wate no. Se me bi amenity area na meja me funa to baby na so obefa. Obeti ma bossa me code na dia fa me sika o me mobile money mo. Na say so fraud nso a abai. Bebre yusu nkrofo ID. So mo ko yiska mo de nkrofo ID eko. Nti me pese sa ID ya nkrofo yusu ya mo de nkrofo sika free o mo mobile money mo. Mpese mo hwe na mo like monye bibi mfa ho because obi aye ya no afọ obi ID no di ko yiska say na maami o say ye hwan yo munnim the reason why ntia o de obi ID aba ntia wo say ono amfa no ono ane ID awaye no mfa mbe yiska no
yeah that was say on Pan African atwetwe nkomo
yo mesime damase.
So in a nutshell, what Anne was saying is that as for her, she feels the no ID, no Momo thing will help the country. It's a very good system. Why? Because previously she went to retrieve money at the mobile money vendor and she realized that a very little girl was there who was also coming to retrieve money, but then the vendor told her to go and bring her mom's ID card, the ID card which is on the name that representing the account. So she didn't understand it, but she felt it's a form of security. So for her it will help because also if someone is coming to retrieve money and she dials her PIN code and you are standing there and you hear it, even without the ID card, you can retrieve the money. But since the ID card system has come in, it has blocked all these fraudulent activities that is patrolling around the mobile money vendor whole system. So the ID card thing needs to be reinforced more. She doesn't want it to be scraped out.
Now, some cold store operators and fishmongers here in Accra have expressed mixed reaction over sales of fish after some dead species were washed ashore at the Axim and Owusu beaches. Speaking on Pan-African News, while some complained about a decline in patronage, others said the situation has not affected their businesses in any way.
Someone for Tono dia koshe ba kolona na china ya ba ende yento ade na school phone ko school enti ma dwane ba fom yen say dey amfeti ye wa amfeti ba ade na ade ton kasa ni ho yento ade enam business ni dey ye nyina ye di dwa fine enam na pie ndi afeti ye wa se ye nya infection bia wa ye dwa na ekosu kama ekosu ba esa ade ton kasa na ni ho bo bia nka ho asem se okay,
to be frank, it has affected with the coastal people a lot. At first, how they used to buy our things, it wasn't like this time round. You see, it has really affected us. It has really affected us
So the sales is not going up, instead of it's really depreciating. At first it wasn't like that, but now we are only looking up to God to come to our aid. Yes. Very, very great one. It has really affected us in a big time. In this, as you already know, we are not in a normal time. So for this problem to have confronted again, we are really suffering. So if there is something you people could do to help or to come to our aid, we really need your support. Okay.
Oh, they say you see, and thought but nam yen nam nanyam puano de, nyam puano nam, ye custod. They say, send a dready any con de, Mamunim senate. Oh, yenya complain biasa. I did on Ancasa name papa. I cough. Oh, business in the day, says Casamuni went to Nipane bar ope at to scanning Yamani boying. Emma at the scanner. Or they ban. Chama is a guardian in the aquaform.
Now let's look at the interbank city performance against some of the major currencies in the world. That's all for business. Up next is international news.
It's incredible! Bang on target!
And it's not decided true man capsules and so at their bread.
I didn't want to say good deal to me, dear Bishop.
At the account, now you're bear man, and a wow.
Hey, true man capsules. One mama ya bear ma bion.
True man ye marime drew and mofra woni in fear dun watchi into me num. Sa jedien krato we FDA for shemu aja tum say she.
Welcome back. Now let's take some stories from our international partners, People's Dispatch. On Sunday, April 11, the people of Ecuador will elect their next president. The election takes place amid an escalating pandemic, divisions and polarization in the indigenous movement, and fears of electoral irregularities.
Some of the key issues are the economic crisis, the proposals of privatization presented by the President Lenin Moreno, and the complete mismanagement of the pandemic, including the delays in vaccination. On April 2, the Committee of Emergency Operations decreed 7 days of curfew and the state of emergency. Amid the restrictions on mobility and large gatherings, the candidate, young economist Andre Arrows, who is carrying on the legacy of Charismo, and the banker Guillermo Lasso, who has espoused neoliberal policies, concluded via respective campaigns on Thursday. The concluding event were held in the cities that each had lost in the first round. Arrows brought together several thousands people in the Comanda Cultural Center in the capital Quito, where Lasso bagged over 3% more votes than him in the first round in February. Lasso organized a rally at the Simon Bolivar Pier in Guayaquil, his hometown and the capital of the Guayas province. Here, Arrows won an important victory in February with a 16% lead over his rival. He also was the front runner in the coastal provinces of Esmeraldas, Manabi, Los Rios, El Oro, Santo Domingo de los Chachillas, and Santa Elena, while the coastal region supported Arrows' Progressive Union for Hope, the Sierra and the Amazon, while less densely populated, went on the indigenous candidate Yaku Perez of the Pachakutik Plurinational Unity Movement. The Pachincha province, where Quito is located, was the only province that favored Guillermo Lasso. While Arrows won the first round with 13% more votes than Lasso, the more than 3 million votes obtained by Perez and Xavier Havas of the Democratic Left Party, who came fourth, will tip the balance, considering that just over 10 million people voted in February. Particularly decisive will be the votes from the Azue province, former bastion of Charismo, the peripheral regions of Quito, the Sierra and the Amazon regions, and the youth, urban, women and professional liberal voters that liked Havas. To date, the majority of the pollsters indicated that the Andres Arrows Carlos Rabascal ticket will win by a 4 to 5% margin over Lasso. The independent research project, Independent Electoral Calculation, said that in terms of voter preference, Arrows leads by 4.8%. The consulting firm predicts a 68% chance of Arrows winning. The number of undecided voters has come down but still hovers around 25 to 39%, according to the majority of polls. Prominent among these undecided voters are the youth. According to official statistics, indigenous people and all of the peoples and nationalities constitute 7% of the population. Why then is the indigenous vote so decisive? In addition to the close electoral contest, it is important to point out that this sector of society has great national prestige after its role on the front lines of a social uprising in October of 2019. The uprising took place in response to the Paquitazo, a series of neoliberal policies recommended by the International Monetary Fund and imposed by the famous Executive Decree 833 by the government of Lenin Moreno. A chunk of the urban population, which is middle class and progressive, will make its decision based on the leanings of the principal indigenous federations of the country. Indicative of this is the historic 19% that Perez won in February on the Pachakutik ticket, which is the electoral instrument of the Confederation of Indigenous Nationalities of Ecuador. However, the indigenous movement is much more complex and diverse than it would seem at first glance, and especially so in this polarized political situation. Some national federations like FEI and FENOCIN have already expressed their political support to Arrows' Union for Hope ticket. And in an act that generated a great deal of buzz, the president of CONAI, Jaime Vargas, publicly declared his support to Arrows along with various leadership of organizations from the indigenous Amazon region. However, the National Board of CONAI reiterated its position of a blank ideological vote and could end up kicking out Vargas in its next assembly. However, Vargas was not the only one that did not follow the organization's decision. Perez's vice presidential candidate, Verna Cedino, shared a video on social media where she expressed support to Guillermo Lasso. Meanwhile, Vargas and other key leaders like Leonidas Iza have talked about the capture of Pachacutec by sectors of indigenous rights, as well as the imposition without consultation of Perez as the candidate of the movement. According to The Economist and Professor Pablo Davalos, the rupture between the bases and structures of the economy with Pachacutec took place a while ago. The organization is believed to have accepted the candidature of Perez in the first round to avoid divisions. After months of persecution, the banning of the leader of the Citizens' Revolution and former President Rafael Correa from political participation and the veto on registration of various political parties, finally Charismo was able to formalize its registration in the electoral process on October 2, 2020 through the legal representative from the Democratic Center Party. The key tool of this lawfare was the National Electoral Council, which has been harshly criticized for its role in the first round. It hurriedly released a preliminary report before the electoral trends were clear and created suspicion and doubt about who would compete against Arauz in the first runoff. The 5 principal members of the CNE were appointed respectively by Pachacutec, CNE President Diana Atamint, the Creole Movement, Vice President Enrique Peter, and the Social Christian Party Jose Cabrera, the ruling Alianza País Party Estela Acero, and Fundamentos Luis Veda Soto. Fundamentos is an organization representing the major media corporations in the country. Thus, all of the members of the CNE represent parties, sectors, or interests that are opposed to Charismo.
Credit to People's Dispatch for the international stories. Up next is sports.
Yare bakwa ehaye mema pa, especially ya yenya 40 years and above no efire prostate ehon obetumi nya prostate enlargement anasta prostatitis se wokwa yaresabia na catch us wo PSA level eko higher kaina hu se wo prostate no ehon ya tochima se hu se wo chim ansa na wadwonso wo dwonso na emu apai anaso edu anadwo a wota adwonso a ene kaina hu se wonya prostate disorder. So to me didi ye anasa wata tene wapom anasa wonya daily supplement bia ebetumi aboa ama o prostate no ejina na nan so sambare man chechire we a natural link company a womode Proslav capsules a eboa mbarema prostate true man ana dinner capsules eboa emba efichire ko obetumi afre mo.
Hello.
Oh, Sisiana sound.
Okay, why? My wife comes and send a message. You hello. What's happened?
It's your child who be a quiet say what? I did
besides for a friend, I'm so years. My wife is not testing messages here. And our officer so I'm still like Diana. She says, I
mean, so we a guy man and may young who could look cry. And also wants a family drilling company limited for Kana.
What's it then? Family Drilling Company Limited.
Ye two borehole, biofuel, biogas, swimming pool, plumbing works in Danso. Ye be Frey 0240 333 111 and that's 0244 144 822.
Miampa and no swimming pool me see. Me want to will be here. Family drilling now. Family drilling. Me out with that shit.
Welcome back. Now let's do some sports stories. Lagos City's FC has intensified its fight for survival in the Ghana Premier League with a resounding 2-0 victory over regional rivals Great Olympics in a crucial match on Sunday. The Royals extended their points gap between them and the relegation zone to 4 with the vital win as Olympics lose to top spot to Asante Kotoko SC.
Lagos City's gaffer, Bashir Kweku Hayford, handed Nigerian international forward Victorian Zakari Ajay Adebayo his maiden start since joining the club in the second transfer window. Shamsu Al-Hassan and Isaka Mahakmed also came in for Nasiru Moru and Francis Nicholas Mensah respectively from the lineup against Brekum Chelsea last week, when Fred Honu also replaced Abdul Fattah Dauda in post. Great Olympics had only one change in their squad. That beat Midiama by a lone goal in their last league game in Accra. Maxwell Abbey returned to the starting lineup in place of Jashuru. Cities waited until the 6th minute to open the scoring through substitute Mensah, who headed a corner from Adebayo. The Royals completed their victory in the 71st minute after Juna Atukwe doubled their lead with a fine finish. Accra Great Olympics dropped to the second place on the league standings, 1 point behind their next opponents, Kumasi Asante Kotoko.
Now, coach of Accra Hearts of Oak, Samuel Bwedu, says he would stay away from making comments over the penalty awarded Ashanti Gold in their defeat to the Miners on Saturday.
Richard Opoku Ayin awarded the home side the last gasp penalty after the ball looked to have bounced off the right thigh of Fatau Abdullahi Mahakmed before hitting his arm. The spot kick was converted by Amos Ade as Hearts of Oak's unbeaten run in the last 6 games came to a halt. Speaking in a post-match interview, the head coach of Accra Hearts of Oak, Samuel Bwedu, indicated that he cannot fathom what happened, but his main concentration is on his next outing against Inter-Allies.
You could see the penalty that he took against us, but I wonder why we got a second penalty and out from there. Then he disallowed, but I don't know why he took that decision. Even though he didn't see the ball, the linesman, one is standing there, didn't see. Then he came all the way to the 4th referee. Why? House of Oak play match after match, and we have lost this match. It's quite unfortunate that we have lost this match, but we are going home to plan well against Inter-Allies or whichever come to our side. We'll make sure that we take the 3 points.
Despite the defeat, the Phobians remain in 4th place and will be playing relegation threatening Inter-Allies in their next game. The defeat is Samuel Bwedu's first since taking over as head coach of the Rainbow Club.
That's all for sports. Entertainment is next.
It's incredible! Bang on target!
Welcome back. Now let's do some show business. Award-winning singer and songwriter Raphael Kofi Atachi, known in showbiz circles as Kamido, has given an insight into how and why he became a musician. In an interaction with Mamiama Pratt on the couch, he also opened up on why he went solo at a point in his career.
My cousin played Akon and I fell in love with Akon sound. And that was it. I came back home and I was singing Lonely. That's it. And then I was like, I want to change my dream. I want to, like, I don't want to be a pilot no more. Like, I want to be a musician. Right. I think that it happened after one entertainment program in Bishop Eman College when I performed. And then another guy also came to perform and I loved what he did. So then we met after the entertainment and we're like, yo, bro, this is really dope. Can we like do a song together or something like that? Yeah. So we went on vacation and then the guy called me and was like, bro, we are going to record the song. Do you want to be a part of it? At that time, people don't just go and record a song by themselves. They join. It's like a squad. Right. And then we all go and record a song for the school and all that. You know, so it's like, oh, Bishop Eman boys do some track. Accra guys do some track. All of that. So then I was like, yeah, I'll be a part of it. So we did the first track. And I'm like, bro, I think we should just be musicians. You know, and the guy's like, yeah, he wants to take it serious too. Then we became serious. Then we approached one studio called Mickey Michael Studios and was like, bro, we want to do this seriously. Can you take us under your wings? And he loved us too and he was like, yeah, let's go. And that was just it. For me, I broke away from the group in 2017 December. I took the whole of 2018 to do covers. I told myself that I have to start all the way from top. Now, one thing I know is if new artists come up on the scene, you have to know how to sing people's songs.
Well, that's how we wrap up on today's edition of Pan-African News Radio on Pan-African Television. Before we go, a recap of our headlines. ECG begins nationwide disconnection exercise today. Work progresses steadily on Pone landfill site. Later in business, we brought you clients and vendors share varied views on MTN's newly introduced mode of no ID, no Momo system. On the international front, Ecuadorians head to the polls amidst COVID-19 threat. Keep watching Pan-African Television. My name once again is Justice Appiah. Up next is Youth Empowerment Show.